This is a Fox News alert. Donald Trump south of the border, the Republican presidential nominee who has never held back in his criticisms of Mexico, set to meet with that country's president in Mexico City ahead of what his campaign is billing as a major and historic speech on tackling illegal immigration. This is Outnumbered. I'm Sandra Smith. Here today, Harris Faulkner, Democratic strategist Julie Roginski, national spokeswoman for the Libre Initiative, Rachel Campos Duffy, and today's #OneLuckyGuy, political editor of townhall.com. Guy Benson is here, and he is outnumbered, and it is a big political news day for sure.
Big time. Good day to be here. Thanks for having me, ladies.
All right.
It's always a good day to have you.
Terrific.
A lot going on and a lot expected to happen in this hour. We begin with Donald Trump's surprise meeting with Mexico's leader. Expected later this hour, Mr. Trump's first foreign trip as the Republican presidential nominee. This comes ahead of what his campaign is calling an historic speech tonight in Arizona, after a week of speculation that he might be softening his hardline positions on immigration. Running mate Mike Pence, in a preview of what we can expect tonight, tells Fox News the candidate is not backing down.
You should get ready for more of the same principles that Donald Trump put the issue of illegal immigration at the very center of the national debate now more than a year ago are going to be articulated again today. He's going to lay out a firm commitment to border security, to internal enforcement, to ending sanctuary cities.
Meantime, this reaction from Hillary Clinton's campaign, quote, "From the first days of his campaign, Donald Trump has painted Mexicans as rapists and criminals and has promised to deport 16 million people, including children and U.S. citizens. What ultimately matters is what he says to voters in Arizona, not Mexico, and whether he remains committed to the splitting up of families and deportation of millions." All right, this indeed will be a big moment with Donald Trump meeting with the Mexican president. What do you think will happen? What will be discussed in that meeting?
Well, I think probably some of what Trump has said will come up. It's a private meeting. We won't know exactly what was said explicitly. There'll be readouts and that sort of thing, and probably spin and counterspin. I think overall, this is a smart move for Trump to accept this invitation. If you look at public opinion, Donald Trump faces a major gap on what I call plausibility as president. People don't think he's qualified. They think he lacks the temperament to be president. Having the opportunity to go to a foreign country, even one that he's gotten into some verbal fisticuffs with, famously over months, show up, be feted and greeted by that foreign leader, and have what will hopefully be some form of a productive meeting. It's an opportunity for him to look like a president, look statesmanlike. So it's a risk. It could blow up in his face, but overall, risk-reward, good move.
Fair enough, but surely, Harris, by accepting this invitation, he was sensing an opportunity. There has been some choice words between the two of them exchanged, and here they are going to sit down. What's the first thing that they discuss?
Well, I agree with Guy. I think that they go over the blotter of information that Donald Trump has put out there and some of the things he said about the people of Mexico, the criminals of Mexico specifically. So I think they probably start there. And I can see him with his bold and brashness. If it doesn't go there quickly, he might even bring it up himself, because that's an opportunity. But the other opportunity is, remember, he got to Louisiana before President Obama did. Now he's going south. He's already been to the border once. Now he's going south of the border. And when was the last time that President Obama met with Nieto south of the border? Show of hands?
Well, and I was going to say that's an excellent point. I think that this is not just an opportunity for Donald Trump. This is an opportunity for Peña Nieto. Latin America has been just disgracefully neglected under the Obama administration and under Hillary Clinton's State Department. And when we just look at Venezuela, Argentina, all these things have sort of, with the exception of what they did in Cuba, a lot of the countries economically, we've lost our hold on free market ideas in those countries. So this is a real opportunity for Mexico as well. I mean, we don't just share 2,000 miles of border. We do more exports to Mexico than we do with Brazil, Russia, India, and China combined. So this is a very important economic relationship for the United States. It's an important relationship for Mexico. And I think it may be less the immigration rhetoric than maybe the NAFTA trade rhetoric.
Fair enough, because Mike Pence's running mate suggested that this morning on America's Newsroom, that it will be a discussion about that as well. But that being said, Julie, politically, will this move the needle? with the Hispanic community and his reach out for their votes.
It's very interesting to see, and Guy summarized this very nicely, but it's going to be very interesting to see what the takeaway is going to be after this is over, because both these men are not popular with their own constituencies. The president of Mexico has as much to gain by telling Donald Trump to take a hike as Donald Trump does to tell him that he's going to pay for the wall, right? And so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens afterwards, whether the president of Mexico stands up and says, I told him under no circumstances are we paying for his wall, and I told him that he's a racist, and I told him that he disrespects the people of Mexico. That helps him domestically, right? Conversely, Donald Trump may benefit with his base by saying, I went down there and I told him they're going to pay for that wall, and I don't care what he says, we're going to build it, they're going to pay for it, I'm going to put it on the Rio Grande. You know, whatever he's going to say, whether that benefits his constituency as well. And so the readout that you talked about is going to be fascinating.
See, what I want to see is Trump come back stateside and have his speech tonight and hold up one of those giant cardboard checks from the Mexican government. Dated January 21st, 2017. They've already paid for it.
Former Congressman Walsh, I don't know if you saw this tweet.
No.
Yeah, said, what game, set, match if Trump comes back with a check from Mexico. I was like, this guy used to be a congressman.
But I mean,
Trump
even
is coming
if it
back
just
with a
comes
check.
up and he can say, post facto that we negotiated a deal when I was down there. I mean, that will be huge news whether he even ends up in the White House. This is what I tried to do. Got elected, didn't get elected, which is interesting. But I want to ask you from your perspective, because you've been supportive of Donald Trump, but you're also Latina, and you know some of the things that he has said.
Well, I've been more hashtag never Hillary, but and for the record, Libra Initiative is nonpartisan. That's just me personally.
I'm talking about
yes,
you.
Me personally, yes.
Yes.
So I think that there's a real opportunity both in the meeting today, because, by the way, Trump has been accused of being thin-skinned. The fact that he's going over to speak to Peña Nieto shows his thin, and it goes well.
Who will not hold back in his comments either. I mean, historically,
right. So if somebody called me those names, maybe I wouldn't go meet with him. I think it shows a real maturity on his part, on Trump's part, that he's willing to do that. But I think tonight the important thing is, I think his base wants to hear that he wants to secure the border and that he still means it. I think there has always been middle ground on what to do with the 11 million that are here, and I think as long as he focuses on getting felons out and securing the border, I think everybody will be happy. I think what Democrats want to see is this harsh language come back, and I think there's a lot of taunting going on. But I think America, the Republican Party, conservatives, and the general population is okay with securing the border and getting the felons out. And I think if he covers those bases, he's going to be fine.
But you're assuming that people have a short memory about what he said about Mexicans. And let me just read out some of the things he said. The Mexican legal system is corrupt, as is much of Mexico.
That's true. The Mexican government does have a lot of corruption. Let's be honest.
It may or may not be the case, but if you're going to go down to Mexico with that kind of rhetoric, the Democrats are not going to let people forget it.
So, Guy, final word to you. They are saying this is going to be a historic speech. This is going to have details. Trump's colleagues, Republican colleagues and supporters are saying we're going to get more details and specific as to his immigration and deportation plans. Do you expect that to happen tonight?
I hope so. I'd like to get clarity on the deportation question and also maybe some clarity about what to do with that 11 to 12 million group of illegal immigrants who are already here in the country. I think part of the softening that we're seeing rhetorically was highlighted last night in his speech, where he referred to at least some illegal immigrants as, quote, aspiring Americans.
Yeah,
what a shift.
And they are entrepreneurs who start businesses at 3 times the rate of the average American. So that's an opportunity for him as a businessman to talk to them as entrepreneurs.
All right, well, you guys set it all up. Be sure to tune in tonight for that big speech. We will bring you Mr. Trump's speech on his immigration plan live at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on the Fox News channel. All right, we are awaiting remarks now from Hillary Clinton as new details surface about her email scandal. The State Department now saying it found 30 deleted messages that may be related to Benghazi. And this drip, drip, drip may finally be taking its toll as a new poll finds Clinton's unpopularity has reached a new high. What it could all mean for her White House run.